Okay, this is live. What are we doing?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Show and Tell. Oh, my goodness. It's so much fun to be here every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. We do this fun half an hour of maker goodness where we hang out and watch all the makers in the community come by and show us what they're working on, whether it's 3D printing or crafting or electronics or soldering stuff or cosplay, whatever you're working on. We want to come and hang out and you can show it off. So we have to get out of here at 7:50, so we'll be here for about 20-25 minutes. It's me, Lady Ada, Mr. Lady Ada. We're not judges, we're just part of this community hanging out with you. So let's start off with some Adafruit peeps. Everybody else, please mute your mic.
Pedro first.
While we wait. And now, Pedro, why don't you kick it off?
Oh no, we were hoping you would go to Mike Barella so we could go like segue and be like, oh, we have our own book too. But
oh no, wait.
yeah,
we're not selling this one, but we are selling something inside of it.
Okay.
Yes. So, you know, I had nothing to do with this. I just did the video and the guide. My wife Brandy did this. She's been wanting to do a book from Hocus Pocus for, I don't know, whenever Phil B did the first Raspberry Pi based Blinky code, but that was just too hard to do.
Perfect. Great.
We had to do, I know, right? And then, so it's super small, super tiny, so it was able to fit inside of a book without having to have, you know, a big honking Linux computer, you know, running the thing. So all crafty, anybody can do this. It's just like air dry clay with like 5mm burlap, twine, and Mod Podge. Of course, the star of the show is the awesome Halloween that's in the inside there with the convex lens. If you open it up, it has the spells for doing whatever that is the witches did.
The spell is to turn off the lights. That's pretty cool.
It totally turned off the lights.
Oh, you're adjusting that.
Yeah, I was trying to adjust the... Anyway.
Yeah, so it's a cookbook, so it's the works. It's going to be adorned in the kitchen. We're going to see this forever now.
It's awesome. Well, it looks great.
Yeah, cool thing about it is she added Velcro to this, so you can still have easy access to all the components. Of course, all of the star in here is the little lens here, and of course the Halloween. You don't have to do anything. You just plug in a battery, turn it on, and it's good to go. So anybody can do this. Lots of different props or objects you can put this in. Super easy. Just put it in a book.
I like that it's just a crafting project. We have a lot of projects that are like, get your soldering iron and your 3D printer, but this is just one where it's like, hey, you know, go to your craft store and you can make a cool prop without having to do any coding or soldering at all.
Absolutely, yeah. Of course, if you do want to do that, there is tons of EF2s you can just drag and drop in there. You can change the color of the eyes or just do like games or anything like that. So definitely check out the Learn Guide for that. There's a whole bunch of lists just on the product page. It's, I forget how many, lost count. There's a ton in there. And of course, it's included in the Ada Box 09.
Thanks, guys. We gotta go now.
Well, thanks for showing off the new Amazon Kindle.
Evil
They say print's dead, but it's not. It's alive with one eye. That's judgy. Okay.
Print is undead.
All right, speaking of books, Mike, you made a book.
I did. Like 4 years ago, I made this one. It was on sale at Maker Faire. Still, I sell like one or two every now and then, and it's good. But yeah, no, you're right. I came up with this new one, featuring the beautiful Adafruit Circuit Playground Express multi-purpose mega sensor blinky board. So I spent lots of evenings and weekends getting all the goodness of how to start from zero to using the board, and I wrote it up with color pictures, make code, CircuitPython-ish stuff, and how to set up the Arduino IDE. It doesn't go into a lot of Arduino examples,
but you can use it. It is an Arduino.
CircuitPython and make code with enough Arduino stuff to get you going.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, it is called Getting Started. So I was at Maker Faire, and a lot of people were really excited. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on the social media, and it's great. Unfortunately, they weren't stocked at Maker Faire, but the online bookstore seemed to be keeping up now. So available
we're going to get some in the Adafruit shop as well. We have a whole bunch on order. So if you really want the Adafruit experience and the Adafruit book and the Adafruit Circuit Playground Express, we'll do a bundle too. It'll be great.
That'd be cool. I mean, you guys have the kits already. I think that it would just go great with basically. You don't need any add-ons really, besides the stuff you have in, I think, the basic kit. You need a USB cable and
those are given away to every person on the planet Earth now.
I mean, you probably have one in your pocket right now, Mike. Just check your pocket.
Oh, here we go. Yes. No, I'm constantly breaking USB cables, and just like the Trinket book, the most important thing making Circuit Playground or anything else is use a good USB cable, because such a high percentage of electronics, you either have a broken one because it's all flexed up, or you have one of those that's like a charge only, and it doesn't have the data.
Charge only cables are common because they're given with a lot of things, and people are like, oh, it's a free USB cable. They're like, the reason it was so cheap is because it's cheap.
Exactly. So you think, oh, I'm not having a good experience. It's like, just find another cable, like Phil said, and you'll be set. So again, it's like under $20. It's at Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Will be back in stock. Adafruit, and some Canada has it. UK Amazon has it. At least one bookstore in Australia has it listed.
Okay.
They're around. They're worldwide.
Okay, great.
All right, thanks so much.
All right, thanks, Mike, and
What's up,
everybody
JP?
who buys book. All right, JP.
Hey, all right. How's it going? I don't have a book for.
It's fine. We got other stuff.
Unless you want a 10-year-old book on 3D animation software. I wrote a book a long time ago that probably won't help you much now.
Trade you one on Macromedia Flash.
Ooh. Not that.
JP's like, I'm not that old.
You're like a Macromedia guy. I know your history. Okay, so I've got a couple things I want to show today. I've got a project that I'm going to tease. This is something I'll be working on my live stream tomorrow. And this is something that's using the Halloween as a interface for a trap, or sort of like a prop booby trap for Halloween. And one of the things I'm excited about is not only using sensing to drop things on people, but also using this Halloween as an interface. So there are different steps to what you do, and you can see here when I need to go to the next step to set up my trap, I'm actually using the screen to tell the user what to do. So the let's see, is it ready? Yeah, it says trap set. And
Oh, no.
I just activated it with a little sensor over here, and it's got a little servo motor that's going to release something. So I'll maybe a little too scary to show here right now on the show. So I'll show it tomorrow on my show if you tune in, 4 o'clock Eastern time.
That's cool that you're using the new CircuitPython image library that lets you just draw images directly to the screen.
Yeah, it's fresh off of the press, really. We just did some of our first projects with it last week, doing image display of BMPs. And that's actually what I'm using right now. I'm not drawing text with fonts there. That's BMP.
Yeah, the fonts are way better. Really good.
Thank you. Yeah, that's our Adafruit Gotham Black, I think I'm using there. So I'm excited to show that project because we've used the Halloween as sort of a wearable in some projects now, but you can see it's also great for embedding in things like the book project that Noam Pedro showed. And here I'm taking in a slightly different direction and saying, hey, this thing's got a display. It's a full feather. It can do all kinds of things. It can control neopixels and motors and speakers. It can play audio. And it's got a really nice, convenient little interface with the 4 cap touch sensors right there before you've even added any buttons or anything like that to it. So super versatile board, and it looks like a skull.
Who doesn't love skulls?
Who doesn't love skulls, right? I also have one little bonus thing I wanted to show. I sort of teased this a little bit last week, and that is the original Game Boy that I got at a yard sale for $1. It was apart in pieces last time. I've actually got it working now. I can fire it up, and you'll see maybe on the screen here the little
Yeah, it's barely visible, but that's normal.
Right, it's barely visible. The nice thing is that when I started, the color of it was basically like this, because you know what happens to this ABS plastic. There's bromine in there to make it fire retardant, which over the course of time and UV sunlight raises to the surface and yellows it. Something that the Commodore 64 or Amiga people figured out a few years ago is that if you use a hydrogen peroxide and activator, which is this 20 volume hair bleach has all the parts you need. You don't even have to work up a recipe.
And you also get your hair pink.
I could. I won't, but I could. And leave this in the sun. I took it all apart first, but the case part's in the sun for about 12 hours total inside of saran wrap so it doesn't dry out. It sort of finishes that process and it detaches the bromine from the ABS plastic and it leaves the surface and we get back to the original color. At least that's the
looks great
chemistry. So I'm excited about that, and I've got a pretty good breakout game on here called Alleyway.
All right.
Game with it.
Well, we're back to being 14. Okay, or 9.
Right. Thanks, JP.
Thanks, JP.
Next up,
Emilia. Wow, look at this beautiful fashion. What do you got here?
Okay, I think I'm unmuted, so
Yeah,
I hope
no,
I'm
here.
okay. So I put this harness together. So I did it about a month ago, so it was a Burning Man thing. And I just wanted to give Sophie Wong a shout out because she put together a sort of harness a couple years ago. And I had the idea in my head to put something together. So I just appreciate kind of pulling from some of what she did. So I took some pleather and sewed it into this design, this harness that I could wear over whatever I want. And I'm going to turn it around and hopefully you guys can see in the back, there's just elastic. And there's pixels up at the top as well, lightly sparkling. And the way that I put it together, I just have a battery and I used a Flora because I had an old one. I should have used a Circuit Playground.
No, the Flora is a little sister Circuit Playground. It's like she counts too. Like.
Right. So it's nothing too exciting, but I find that I just really, I'm just really enjoying lighting things up. So I'm going to click through some different modes. I just put a bunch of different modes on here. And it's just fast LED.
And
So
did this work at Burning Man? Did it work all the days you needed?
it was amazing. Yeah, it was great. And it was perfect just to be able to throw on over whatever I wanted.
Right. A sweater for nights, nothing for the day.
I didn't wear it in the daytime, but yeah, so it worked great and it weighs nothing.
Yeah.
And it has 59 pixels on it.
And great visibility. Nobody's going to hit you by accident.
Right.
Awesome. Perfect project. Love it.
Thank you.
And Sophie was in the Discord chat and he says, wow, it looks amazing.
Thanks.
Sophie
Good
thinks
work.
your project is cool, so
All right, next up,
that's great.
Brian.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. So I just want to show off two boards I've been working on. This one is a battery-powered SAMD51 board. So it's got a boost converter over here, and then it's got level shifters and the SAMD over here. And the cool thing about it is that I can turn it on and make things blink, and it's totally portable. I set it up with the level shifter, so hopefully it can drive a lot of LEDs. I built this specifically to build into sculptures that my wife makes. So this little guy, you can see, is a little baby hamster.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hi.
Blinks. Yeah.
Is that 3D printed?
No, she sculpts these by hand in oil-based clay, and then we make things like these big molds to cast them in. Other thing I quickly wanted to show was I made another one. That's this one's got a rechargeable battery in it. It's much smaller.
Wow.
It's got a little. It's supposed to have 5 chainable dot stars on it, but I think I messed up the soldering on them, so they don't quite fit right. But yeah, it was fun little projects.
Looks great. And that's a SAMD51?
This one is the SAMD21. It's I built this for the Hackaday 1x1 challenge. So it had to fit within a square inch, and I wanted to get the dot stars on there. So
Yeah.
I went with something slightly smaller. But this bigger one is the SAMD51. I
Impressive.
have another board that I made that's like it's kind of like a itsy bitsy. But
Wow.
If you
That's
get
intense.
if you get CircuitPython running on any of these or future ones, this
these are already running them. Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, I was going to say.
He's like, I did it. It's done.
Yeah. No,
There's a little-
I've got
there's a
piles
little
of
bit of
boards
a
that I've
limited
been working
suggestion.
on, and it's just kind of one of those things that I was like, yeah, why not put CircuitPython on it? So
Well, one thing that's cool too, since these are sculptures, when you plug them into a computer, they show up as a USB drive. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
very
I'm actually,
easy to-
I've got some plans for that. I kind of want to maybe build some games into them or something like that. I want to do some fun stuff with putting wires in for CapTouch to make them interactive or something.
our CircuitPython alpha does images now. So you would,
Yeah, I saw that. I'm a hangout in the CP Discord channel.
okay, so you know all stuff. All right, great.
So yeah,
He's totally dialed in.
yeah, and this is the last thing we've been working on. It's the baby raptor.
Oh, that's so
This
cute.
this is the first casting. It didn't come out well, but you know, when testing a new mold, everything
Oh,
is
Okay.
it's gonna eviscerate you. It's really cute.
I should mention real quick, Emilia, don't forget to email support@adafruit.com and we'll send you a as seen on the show and tell sticker. Brian, also do that. We'll send you an as seen on the show and tell sticker. And Brian, if you email PT@Adafruit with any photos of these later, we could do a blog post that might help sell more sculptures too.
totally, that'd be awesome.
But I can put that in our newsletter and put it on the blog and stuff because, like, hey, look, CircuitPython's fueling like cool art sculptures. So.
Oh, absolutely, I'd be happy to.
Okay.
Oh, yay.
All right, send it my way.
Sweet.
Okay, next up
All right.
we're gonna do Dannon, and then we're gonna end with Adam.
All right, Dannon.
Dannon, you here?
We see if image not quite there. Maybe we'll come back to you.
Yeah, we'll come back.
We'll come back. All right, Adam.
When we see you, we'll get back over there. All right, Adam, take
What's
it away.
the news?
So as you can see behind me, I'm working on this TEM right now, just doing a bit of tune-up to it and a lot of greasing parts. So I got all my cans of grease. But this weekend, I did something pretty interesting.
I hope it's some other scanning electron microscope.
Another scanning electron microscope. It's actually helping a friend get his machine out of a basement. So this is a pretty massive machine. It's a really special type called a field emission machine, where instead of the regular electron guns, it just basically sucks electrons out of a really sharp tip of tungsten. It's really high resolution and really bright, though, but also really, really heavy. And it was, if you can kind of see here, down a fairly steep ramp. So I had to get some creative rigging going for this thing. And a combination of these really awesome things called roll lifts and about, 1.5 tons of winching or winch capacity. We were able to drag this thing up and out of the basement, and then got the forklift out and got the instrument on a truck, drove 4 blocks, and unloaded it. So it was getting it out of the basement was the interesting part, just because this ramp is so steep and the machine weighs 1,500 pounds or so.
Yeah.
Or the column, and then this other section weighs another 400 or 500. So it's just a really long day of a lot of slow, careful rigging, a lot of slow, careful winching to kind of extract this machine from a pretty challenging environment. But
It's a forklift photo. You're like, hey, hanging out, forklifting.
There's a lot of forklifting jokes that made that day. But yeah, no,
the casually just lifting up 1,500 pounds of equipment. No big deal.
The forklift was actually rather unexpected. An unexpected forklift is always a good forklift. The truck's lift gate was the sketchiest lift gate we had ever seen before. So understandably, we were not about to move this very, very nice electron microscope up on this lift gate. You can kind of see here, it was so steep and so shallow, we had to use winches to get this thing up on it.
Yeah.
And just take it really slow. But here's kind of a time lapse of the whole process. So putting another pallet in the back of the truck, getting the truck all set up, then very, very carefully getting that thing in. So it's when you're using a forklift like this, it's pretty much a 2-person job. I'm on the ground, going around, make sure the forks get directly underneath the machine, and the other person is very, very carefully following directions because you can't see the forks when you're sitting up in there, especially when you're moving something that's sensitive.
I love it. It's like you have a team. You're like,
oh yeah, we had I think we had a pretty big team there that day. It was it was a pretty fun day though. Got lots of other stuff moved besides just the microscope, but over the coming weeks I'll probably be heading in a couple of times to help get that microscope set up. But it's Rob is he's at Hacker Friendly on Twitter, and that's his microscope, so his baby. You're helping move.
All right,
Okay,
that's great.
all right. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
All right, Dannon, you're back.
Dannon, how's it going? Take it away.
Okay, you want to unmute your mic? Okay. Hi.
There we go.
Oop,
Oh, we
he was
lost
here
you.
and now he's gone.
You were there? No, you're not there.
All right, well, I'm going to look at this book for a second.
Look at the book.
Where's that
Looks
book?
cool.
Maybe Mike.
Harness looks cool too. It's
the harness
blinking.
is still there. Mike's book.
Mike's book.
There we go.
Blinking.
We got some AMD stuff over here.
Oh yeah, that's a PCB. That's nice.
All right, I think Dan's having some technical difficulties. So, Dan, if you can hear us, come back next week because you were not there.
For a second, we saw you.
Yeah, we saw you for a second. Okay, well, that's it for the show and tell tonight. Bye, everybody. We'll see everybody next week. Thanks for making this the best half an hour of our week every single week.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Pedro. Thank you, Mike. John. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Emilia. And thank you, Adam. We'll see everybody on Ask an Engineer in just a few minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Tune in. Reset trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.